Hello, everyone. Welcome into our gorgeous space.
Into our miraculous reality.
My beautiful, very close, very dear sister, co-creator, mirror, friend, and I, Solara, and I'm Shelly. And we are creating something, are creating this incredible, deep, soulful, pure, magical,
luscious, holy, divine, sanctified, marvelous, enchanting.
Yes.
It's just the code.
A container. We have felt inspired to together create an incredible container for you, for us, for anyone who feels called to come step into this container with the purpose of really landing in and embodying your true God nature. The purity of that, the knowing of that in a very true, embodied, visceral way. And from that, literally creating with ease and delight and mastery, learning how to truly be the master designer. And I know, as I'm saying this, I know these are words that people use a lot. And, we use them a lot too, but there's such purity in our vision of, and simplicity in actually what this process is. Yes. It's a coming home to your purest knowing of yourself as the infinite. Because this is your essence. It is our essence. And from that pure, deep, true essence, we really can land in our heart's desires and allow them to truly just come into form in our reality.
Yes, I think that's such a magnificent gift of this whole experience, is because it's entering into that field of absolute fluorescence and illumination where there's, it's beyond magnetism. It's beyond needing to draw and pull and attract and all of that.
Yes.
We just are. Yes. We just are that field of infinite, cosmic, divine, luminous intelligence embodied at all planes of our being. We're literally inhabiting our cosmic design and blueprint, which is already here. And that was one thing that I know we wanted to speak into. It's like in a lot of the realities that we have collectively constructed, paradigms, constructs, where we are in a process of realizing heaven on earth. We are in a process of actualizing paradise on earth. But the golden age, true Zion, true paradise, the design and the architecture and the logos for that is already here. It is now, is embedded in every cell of our body, every molecule, every proton, photon, ion, neutron of existence. So it's a shift from the journey of evolving into it and landing in the perfection of completion. And from that,
oh yeah, here she goes.
To really literally open into that, to melt, to relax into that in our beingness, in our body, our solar plexus, our heart, our sacral, and allow that to really land in our roots and to live from our wholeness and to shift from the evolutionary journey to the journey of pure prosperity, depth, liberation, total liberation, which we're going to speak into more, and shift into the true purpose of creation itself, which is really just to realize infinite potentials and possibilities. So we get to just enter into the realm of pure creation, pure expansion, pure love, pure beauty, and architect our own sovereign paradise from that space. And the landing in this is so simple. It's so simple, and the exercises and the tools and the galactic technologies, I love to call it, the way they're revealed to me as divination technologies, are very ancient, Egyptian, deeply holistic, and supernatural in the respect that they are super natural. They're so pure and pristine and elemental and mineral and based in the abundance of the earth herself and the abundance that we are as living organic beings. And we get to live in the extraordinarily natural ease and flow of that, and everything orchestrates and harmonizes around us as we move and dance and glide and jump and sing and play through our experience. And it's just these new levels of ease and graciousness and wonder and fulfillment and just inhabiting the perfection of our divinity, of our wholeness.
Squeal.
Yes.
Yeah, as you're speaking, I know I feel, I'm like, yes, there's more. I'm like, yeah. But some of the aspects of it, it's like there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. And there's nothing out there to call forward, although it appears that way. It is about being it. Being the vision, being it now, embodying it now, being it now. Nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. Just here. And the recognition that in being it here, in owning it here, in claiming it here, in choosing it here, and I'm saying it, and by it I mean who, all that you want to be and become. So, become, but you can be that now. That's in creating it right now, in the now.
As the now.
I
think that's like the prior, as spatially, and this is it's a pristine non-dual field of pure truth, pure awareness, pure consciousness that exists outside of linear time. So as we are in the eternal mystical now, as the eternal mystical now, we just move through our creation as that.
Yes.
And so we're not in past or future timelines. We're literally just frequentially selecting from that point of all knowingness, all beingness, all havingness.
Yes.
So, and it's even, because we were discussing this yesterday, and I love this, is a fantastic point, and this will bring some ground into it too, because I know in my own journey, there's just a certain point where I had, just accomplished so much and reached so many of my goals. And I just would goal set and I would reach it, and I would goal set and I would reach it. And I would think that I wanted a specific desire, and then I would experience that. And after a while, I just realized, for me, this isn't it. There's more depth. There's more freedom, there's more fulfillment, there's more sustainability, there's more ecstasy. And what is that? So I went into a deep exploration and questioning and researching process in my consciousness. I'm like, what am I actually looking for? And it was really to land in my eternal nature as the infinite in all moments. And one of the things that we're going to speak into in this course, in this program, in this beautiful, sacred, luscious, divine container that we're going to share with you, is what depth freedom actually is. And it's kind of a melting into the knowingness. And this is where it can get a little bit trippy and a little bit psychedelic in nature. And we, in the visionary space, you start to actually see and live from the holographic reality, and your vision and your faculties and your psychic capacities are fully activated and they come online. We're living from perfect sight and perfect vision. And so you start to see that all of the elements of your creation are you fractalized out. So they're all dimensions of our own consciousness, So with that knowing, we recognize that we're always engaging with ourselves, and from the point of engaging with ourselves as God, as truth, as holy, divine, wild perfection in form, there's nothing to fear. There is nothing to worry or be concerned about in any moment. We're living in absolute safety, absolute trust in the totality of our beingness. And we're doing this beautiful sacred dance with ourselves. And that power of perception unto itself has the capacity to transform and create anything instantaneously.
Yeah.
Because when we shift, our whole hologram and all dimensional facets of our consciousness and creation shift with us in that singular moment. And if we're coming from the God view and the God perspective, we literally will be living in paradise actualized on all levels.
Amen, sisters.
And nothing outside of us can interfere with the creation, because we are the singular prime
We're the
operant.
only creator, yes. Yeah, the way I speak about it, and one of the things that's so beautiful about Solara and I is like we perceive and live in really the same perspective, but our languaging and our way of speaking to it, even some of the words we use are quite different. Sometimes the way we talk about it, we're like, oh, she's so galactic and I'm so earthy. So the way that I speak about this is you really are the one. I know that anyone who's watching one of our videos knows on some level that you are an infinite being, that you are an infinite creator, that you are God. I know that you wouldn't be watching this if you didn't know that. And I do believe there is a deepening of those who know that. There's a deepening of awareness. And it's a deepening that recently happened to me. And it's a deepening into not only am I an infinite creator, but I am the infinite creator. In my reality, I am the infinite creator. And what that means is I am the sole creator of everything that is happening in my reality, in my awareness. I am the sole creator. And this is true for each of us. And so it takes us beyond, because we can sometimes perceive that we are I love it. Yes. We can sometimes perceive that. This is where my perception was a little more up here. I was still perceiving oneness, and the way I perceived it was, well, I'm infinite and you are infinite and you are infinite, but we can still clash. You're infinite, but your reality can clash with mine. And the deepening is, no, there is no clashing. Everything that is happening, every interaction, how people are showing up, every single thing that is existing in your reality is created by you, because you are the sole creator of your reality. And so that was the inspiration of us creating this container together, was to invite people to step into really, really getting that you are the sole creator. And that actually means nothing's off limits. Nothing.
And nothing else exists
except
you. So it's one of the... I feel like this is extraordinarily valuable to speak into, because this is an evolution. This is the evolution of the future of humanity, is true unity consciousness. Because in this field of knowingness and embodiment and beingness, there's no me and you. There is no us and them. There is no individual me and world. All of that literally fuses into a singular synthesized source field. And so we're always literally engaging with facets of ourself. And there's no there's no insight, there's no hold on a second, let me deepen in for a moment. There is no inside outside. It's all inside, projected
Woo!
and fractalized.
There it
out.
is.
It's just all one.
There's no
feel.
out there.
Yeah.
There is no out there. And that's the deeper level into true non-separation. There's no out there. It's you. And so then to create and perceived out there that is your Eden, your paradise, what you desire. There's a deep purification, but I mean that in illumination, purification, clarification within. So just clarifying deeply the within, knowing that the within is creating every single thing out there.
Yes.
And so that's part of our desires, like inviting people deep into themselves and deep into the, like, landing in the really clear recognition and purity of your true desire, and holding it in the space of knowing that there is nothing that can stop it, because out there is you. So when you hold it in that knowing, there is an effortlessness in the manifestation, because you're no longer attracting something that's separate than you and hopefully it's going to come. There's no sense of manipulation. It's you. It's all you.
Allowing yourself to experience what you are.
Yes.
And so through the cultivation, which is so much of what we're going to explore in this course, this journey, is how to imbue and embody the depth, frequency, and resonance of the realities that we want to architect and construct, and how to play with our divination technologies, our telekinesis, our capacity to architect in the multidimensional landscape, utilizing our vision and our psychic technologies and our intercapacities as creators, and how to literally weave worlds, how to open, and we're talking significant manifestations. It's not even just quantum leaping, it's like landing in entire dream worlds of your own choosing, of your own design, of your own resonance. And how to apply this with simplicity and utter delight in each area of your life. And so you can move forth with the tools and the awareness of how to do this for yourself, and really be in the full embodiment and expression of your divine, infinite creative nature. And one of the points of liberation too that I would love to just speak into for a moment is, from the recognition of the God self, which is what makes the creation so infinite, is that if we know truth, if we know the law of one, and we are embodying that, and we are hearing that, seeing that, feeling that, knowing that, resonating that, expressing that, then we will only experience that throughout the totality of our creation and all aspects of ourself. We'll just be engaging with God. So can you imagine the difference between waking up and living in a world where you're engaging with all of your programs and your fears and your anxieties and your projections and your lineage and your cultural conditioning, and then waking up into a reality where you're actually engaging with the pure face of God, in the safety, in the trust, in the absolute beauty and brilliance and knowingness that you, God, are for you 100,000% fully and completely, and that every single step you take is a step in flourishing, and you are all, you're just, everything is 100% yes to you, a yes to your dreams, a yes to your desires. It's like that for many of us, because of the experiences that we've had in our life, haven't felt that depth of purity and safety and pure wonderment since we were children. But getting to be adults creating literally our own, for me it's an ecstatic romance novel, because I'm just such a romantic and a creative, and I love to in my larger contribution, it's just I'm a huge advocate for global sustainability and free energy and renewable energy and cleaning the oceans and the rivers and the forests and all of that. And so that's where I can contribute, but allowing that nature within us, the pristineness of that nature, to come forth through our actions, and the architecture, the actual outer architecture of the new earth becomes an extension of our embodiment. Our actions become an extension of our embodiment. And can you imagine all of us doing this here and now? The whole mainframe, as it is currently perceived, would become the true emanation of its pure divinity, because we would be living in ecstatic alignment with that purity within ourselves, and we couldn't help but act in accord with that in all moments. And so everything else would naturally calibrate to that inner state.
Yeah.
And it's,
yeah. And I can also speak to, I love what you're saying. And also, as we are practicing living entirely in and as our God self, learning how to really seamlessly, when we are not in that God self, when we are during times of collapse or forgetting or contraction, because those happen. They happen for me still. So of course maybe they happen for all of us, but I guess what I'm speaking to is learning to, how do I come back into the knowing again and again, so that I can live primarily in that space? Because the more we learn to actually get back into the embodiment of it, the more it does anchor in as primary, right? And then the more your world is going to be reflecting that wholeness of what you know yourself as and what you know the world as, right? So what we know ourselves as, what we feel ourselves as, is what we create. So yeah, there's a process of coming back into that inner recognition and allowing that to be easy.
Yes.
And learning how to do it so that it is easy.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's the exquisite beauty of this also. And there's so much, but it's the direct orientation into the now in those moments, instead of going on a journey, into suffering or down the rabbit hole or into, extreme spaces of self-resistance and, all the things that we can do.
Or even healing.
Yes. Yes. And having the tools to instantaneously shift.
Yeah.
To just make that alignment, because the moment that we make the alignment, it's not a process. We don't need to go through a process of, we just enter it. And so having the tools to actually just enter into it, immediately it just reorchestrates and reorganizes the field.
Right. So coming to know oneself as literally as God, and that being a true orientation to who you are. In as self too, but who you are, and then just landing in that space where all is possible, all is whatever you want it to be.
Infinite potentials, possibilities, and timelines to frequently select from and choose with our vision, with our body, with our mind, our soul. And we get to actually live in the essence of our high heart, our pure heart, because from that space, it's just like, and if you've been in the magical realms or you're a high initiate, you know this, all magic is all of our energy, galaxy to earth, fusing in a powerful, potent portal at our heart center, in that pure, luminous light. Emerging and expressing into our reality. And that's the true gift that we all have to give. That is the true value that we offer. That is the true and pure transmission and service that we all have in all moments, because our purpose lives and breathes inside every moment. And it's through that luminous electrical light radiance that comes to our heart center. That's our gift, is our pure beingness, the truth and the quintessence of all that we are. And we actually get to start living fully from those spaces. And as Shelley was speaking into, which is so valuable, because it's a journey, it's a practice and a cultivation. Right. But why I love it though is because it's so simple, and it literally, simple. We've both been through, I went through 20 years. We're talking a depth of of trauma and contraction where I had to unwind and uncoil, and have had numerous awakenings, traveled solo for 10 years, studying, on a mystical journey of self-discovery. And you have also had profound awakening experiences. So we've traversed these terrains and we've learned from direct experience, so we can support and guide what it is to make these micro shifts and refine and polish and really anchor your embodiment in a way that is gentle and organic, and to be honest, quite relieving. It's just relieving. It's like a breath of fresh air, like this is accessible.
Yeah. That's one of the things, as we've been creating this container, we've been talking about like really at the core, there's such innocence and simplicity. It sounds so grand, right? Your God self. It's grand. And the access point is there's also an access point of it being so simple and so pure and so innocent and right here, just right here. And the more here's, the more now's that we've come to recognize that as us the more that sustains, and we just know. I mean, ever since my first awakening until now, that's really been the journey, is like continuing to land back in, that's what I am. Oh yeah, that's what I am. That's what I am. And it's like it fuses through and in the body and becomes sustained knowing. Sustained knowing, and then we get to play. Because then it's like, okay, well now, then let's create. Let's have fun.
That's just, it's literally, it's like the fusing with our cosmic design, and actually having the tools and the technologies and whatever it is that supports us with opening at a cellular visceral level to actually allow more of that light to enter into our being, and to also more consciousness to be birthed from our DNA, our true potential to emerge, so that we fuse with the light that we are. And allowing it to be a gentle, graceful, fun, orgasmic process, and remembering that we are free in that. There's no system or process except for your own. So this is
important.
This is huge. Trusting yourself, listening to yourself, following your unique rhythms and timing and cycles, because your body, your genetics, your epigenetics, your cosmic DNA blueprint knows what it is doing.
Yes.
So trusting yourself and your unfolding uniquely, always above all else, and listening to your intuition and giving yourself truly what you need. And truthfully, in moments where we can kind of get into those cycles, like those habitual, where the energy is trying to like wear itself out, just trying to exhaust itself, and to really, really exhaust yourself into surrender. Just having beautiful, graceful rituals that you love and enjoy to shift into when you start recognizing that taking place, and you can automatically merge. And also like very active, activated, primal, passionate, grounded, earthy rituals to get into too, to really like anchor it into your body. And even just in those moments of catharsis, when you just need to sing and you need to dance, you need to go in the middle of the forest and you just scream to the cosmos, and all of that to activate and liberate more of your light inside of your being, and to live from a space of pure freedom and in absolute intuitive harmonic flow with your design, with your signature frequency.
Yeah, and again, as we come to know ourselves as the singular God, as the God of our own realities, then we recognize that I make the rules.
Yes.
I choose the process.
So good.
I choose how this goes. I choose what means what. I choose. You choose.
Oh, and this is the best in the creative process, and this is the best in business, because I know that between you and I, we've created a tremendous amount of success in our journeys, and we both are very connected to our wild, exotic, organic, natural, intuitive flow. And that is the way that we live and construct our lives. So even into, you know, it's just like entrepreneurs' opportunity to unleash your brilliance and your genius and your sovereignty and your creativity and your voice and your brilliance through your business and your creations, and know that you can thrive and flourish in that way. And actually is this field is sustained. That's the only way moving forward that we're ever really truly going to experience true fulfillment, enrichment, pleasure, fun, and this gorgeous dance we're all doing.
Yes, this illusion of kind of outer rules to follow. No, there's no out there. It's all you. So the design is entirely yours. And part of, you know, not all of us are living with the depth of this knowing, and then so we allow outer things to be a rule, or we collude with, I have to do that for this. But the recognition of like letting all of that go. No, there's no rules. You construct it entirely within. For every, like you were saying, for every area of your life, you construct it internally, and you get it. You land in it. You land in the knowing that it is done. That it is who you are. That it is the truth. And you sustain that, and it has to appear out there.
And it's from a space of pure soul desire too, which is, I think, another important thing to just speak into briefly. It's the difference between egoic desires that come from a space of lack and neediness to fill a hole or a void, because we haven't learned how to access our orgasmic divine nature on our own and in our own space. But the truest core desire that we all have is to feel that luscious euphoric energy running through our bodies in all moments, allowing it to express itself through us, and to live in harmonic connection to that energetic in all moments, in all that we're doing, no matter what we're doing, to experience ourselves fully and to carry that into and through each moment. That's really what we're looking for. And then the outer desires come from a space of pure soul, because then you're in a space of true, authentic, like, what is my soul desire to experience next? It's not from a space of lack. It's from a space of pure desire to experience possibility and newness and freshness and novelty and all of this.
And as we were talking about yesterday, like, I love earthly desires. I love, you know, I love love. Like, I love, luxury and travel, or, you know, I have a variety, and so many of desires that I have that are very much earth, very even human, but the desiring of them comes from a place of knowing that I can have whatever I want. So the infinite self wants to play in this body on this earth and enjoy what it is to be alive. And to taste different flavors and experience different things, and to just have a delicious, fun experience around every corner. And that's really my orientation of life in this moment. It's like, oof, okay, I am infinite. I can create everything. I can create anything. What's it gonna be? Let's do this. And the enjoyment, just allowing myself to enjoy it. And there's no lack there. There's no lack there. And there's no, exactly what you're speaking to. The lack comes from not knowing that we're infinite. So when you know you're infinite, truly, when you truly know it, there can be no lack. So yum.
So yum.
And
it's just what's coming online now too is the dream awake, the dance actualized, but recognizing that the artistry of magic itself is our intimate relationship and union with life in all moments. So life becomes this sacred just a love affair that we're having with all dimensional facets of our own beingness. And so relational mastery is truly the mastery of magic is relational mastery, our capacity to relate in the way that we want to be related with. You know, Jesus said, treat everyone like you want to be, but what he really meant was like literally treat everyone like yourself, like you want to be, like how do you want to be engaged with? And in doing that dance, you'll be in your own living just your own living love story,
right?
You know, whatever that translates as uniquely for you. And then also recognizing that you as the prime operant, you know, there's all these ways that you can engage with and relate to and communicate with your reality, with your hologram, to code it with instructions, to request, to actually architect, to bend light, and to all of these technologies that we have access to actually create in the larger holographic sphere. Wow, my vision is like, people, if you're new to me, I can see energy, and like just right now, the whole thing is just so lit. It's so lit, but it's, you know, living in that field of sacred union, the hero's gamos, the dance between the lover and the beloved, and really living that out in full, rich, vital aliveness. And knowing you can create anything, you know, and it's super conscious authorship, in as much as in the moment we're requesting, defining, directing, designing.
Yes.
And so all of our wishes, it's like, you know, follow the golden lit road.
Yes.
And it just all, you know, it's this beautiful path that is ever unfolding before us. And this is what is possible and accessible and natural for all of us to be experiencing. And so I am just utterly thrilled and delighted to just share this experience together. I mean, honestly, my feel around it is we're just going to create this gorgeous, voluptuous haven of love and divinity and creation, and enjoy 6 weeks of prolific co-creation with one another, and master these technologies. And each week will be themed, and we'll really go into the depth and the expanse of certain topics and how to co-create in different dimensions of your life experience. And we're also going to have 6 group calls where we do Q&A, and we are just experimental and experiential, and you know, it's filled with like research and discovery and exploration, and it's just going to be fun. Like a massive like family soul sleepover. And just incredibly powerful and potent.
Just coming back home together, coming back home into our knowing of our own mastery, in our excitement to design, in our holding of each other in that designing. The beauty of that, fun, beauty, just all is possible. And that's true. It's actually true. It's actually true.
Totally. That's like a whole other conversation. Like once we actually start to dissolve a lot of our own solidified constructs into the light, and there's no resistance, we get to configure our beliefs from a space of total purity and non-resistance, which means that what we actually believe to be true will come into existence for us rapidly. And so when you become more malleable, your neuroplasticity is fully online, your neurotransmitters are clean. And the way that I see this too, when I see energetic and the evolution of the human genome and brain, is that in true unity consciousness, omni intelligence, the left and the right hemispheres of the brain actually start to fuse and to get together, and that's the evolution of the human mind. And it's an omni consciousness that is birthed. So right now we've been living in these stages and these cycles and these spirals and these, you know, directional, like attempting to get somewhere, but in the anchored embodiment of now, the brain actually begins to fuse its hemispheres together into one omni pure consciousness, where we are living as coherence naturally. So we can even shift out of the transformational realms of needing to find and architect coherence, because we just are that. This is an extraordinarily advanced level of just beingness and embodiment, but it's also natural and what is accessible to all of us through our pure avatar embodiment. That was a vision that was just coming through.
That's why I love you so much.
We just get to be that. And
yes. What else do you want to share with them?
Yeah, I mean, maybe just tap into some of the logistical pieces.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is going to be a 6-week journey, January 15th through March 1st. We are going to have a Facebook community that we are all a part of, interactive, just very charged and present, and really taking us into this space of God's self-creation so that we can sustain that for the 6 weeks together and beyond. It includes this offering includes 3 calls with Solara, 3 calls with me, and then our group calls, 6 group calls. And what else?
So let's see. Yeah, so in our 6 group calls, we're going to tune into, foundational principles for manifesting mastery, like exactly what to do, exactly how and why it works, so that you have a full cognosis and understanding of what that is, and you can carry it forth into your life. Health and vitality and embodiment, love, union, intimacy, relationships, and community, money and financial prosperity, lifestyle design, and then legacy contribution. And everyone's going to receive a recording of our calls, the recordings of our calls. And I just love to create resources. I am like a generative machine when it comes to creating like resources and tools and ebooks, and all of this stuff is just so, as just some icing on the cake, you'll be receiving some beautiful like galactic and ancient wisdom tools and technologies and insights to help you anchor. So keys, like illumination keys, to help you shift and pivot. And so you'll have those tools. And also, I mean, I will throughout naturally, and with those who want to have this sacred experience with me, also be doing like frequency and body scans, biofeedback scans, and tuning into your unique bioenergetic operating system to see what's going on, so that we can shift you into super symmetrical coherence according to your unique signature frequency and tone. And so we'll be doing sonic light code activations, sound activations, vocal activations, the just different ways that attunement can happen and unfold. Is just a beautiful like bonus to melt into and to just receive and enjoy.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So yes, amazing. I think that's, so the investment for this experience is 2020, of course. It's just like, when I feel into this, everything, the field is just like golden fireworks. It's just all that I see. It's just these gorgeous, radiant golden lights and true new depths of joy and fulfillment and satisfaction on all levels. So 2020 for pay in full, and 11/11 union with the light in 2 payments if that's best option for you to do 2 payments. And we'll be facilitating all of this on Zoom and group calls during our one-on-one sessions, and then we'll also have, again, the brilliant interactive Facebook community for you to ask questions and to just drop in and connect and just have this safe haven to go there.
I was just going to say that. Let's go there. Let's go there again and again and again.
Yeah, way, way, way beyond the ordinary, into the extraordinary, and into the realms of transcendent, fantastical creation. Because one of my explorations of my journey through learning and integrating and mastering so much of the science and so much of the quantum physics and so many of the different religions and philosophies, and just being a sponge for all of that data and information, and kind of like mastering it and applying it and playing with it and practicing it and exploring it, you come to a point where you realize that consciousness is creating the whole game. And so then you start to learn how to transcend so much of the sciences, utilizing your technology. So it's a gift. It's like we learn the system to transcend the system and to create new ones. And this is where it starts to get a little bit weird, because we get into the quantum world, but at these levels of embodiment, you start to see how the quantum world is being constructed, but that happens through a process of research and like depth exploration, like what is really going on in here, and what is my capacity to literally architect new worlds in with the frame that there are an infinite amount of Earths, an infinite amount of timelines existing, coinciding right here, right now. Which Earth even am I inhabiting? So it's even shifting out of the view that there is one Earth and into, I'm choosing to inhabit the Earth that is paradise fulfilled, and going there, experimenting there, architecting from there, and just having a super safe and open-hearted, open-minded, container in order to explore these parts of our own journey and our experience, because we're all exploring this together. We're all in this together, and so just having that accessible.
Let's play. Yes. Let's play and enjoy and be and be. Yeah. I don't have any more words.
I think that feels super delicious and complete. And we love you guys so much, and thank you for choosing to spend your time and your energy with us. We love you, and we look forward to sharing this experience with those who feel called. And even if you don't feel called to play with us, I hope that this transmission has activated something within your mind, body, spirit, soul. All pervasive love. You guys are absolutely amazing. And you'll be seeing so much more from us soon. There's so much co-creation about to unfold.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Supernova. Supernova Aphrodite. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.